What is up, everyone? Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, today I want to try something a bit more stupid that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I'm still gonna try it because I'm curious AF, and some of you guys might be curious as well. I am on the test server, I have access to the turtles, and I want to do one thing. I want to try Leonardo, which is the Unity champion for the turtles, versus Taras. Why do I want to do that? Because they have similar skills. Even though one is an HP based, one is a defense based champion, Taras is well known for nuking the heck out of the enemies the more buffs he has on the team, right? So this AoE attack is actually pretty damn crazy. Now, they do work pretty differently because the damage increases by 15% for each buff on the allies, while on Leonardo, we're gonna have something a bit more different, but more or less the same cup of tea. So he has attacks all enemies. The damage inflicted increases by 5% for each buff on all allies and enemies. I am very curious to see which one wears the crown as the best AoE nuker out of the two of these Void legendaries. As I've mentioned, it doesn't really need to make a lot of sense. It's just something that I really want to try out. Maybe you guys are gonna like it, maybe you're not. Let me know in the comments down below. Let me quickly show you the builds that I have on. So it's hard to match their stats because one is an HP based, one is a defense based champion, but I've gave them good stats, okay? Good stats. 120k HP, 334% crit damage. So that's a good HP, good crit damage. We have Savage and Stone Skin, which is irrelevant. Masteries, these are the masteries on him. Then we have a Leonardo, which has Savage and Stone Skin. We have 8.3k defense, 326 crit damage. So a bit of more crit damage could be nice on him. Not necessarily something that we must have. I could even go for more defense on the champion. And let's just say that would kind of like make up for it. Even though I think that we have a good amount of defense on him, I'm going to give him defense boots, right? Why not? So that will drop a bit of crit rate, if we can actually, because we might not be able to pull that off. That drops too much crit rate. Maybe we can glyph a lot of defense, and that will up it up a little bit more, right? It's very hard to match it, as I've mentioned, but I'm still very curious to see kind of like what freaking numbers are we talking about? Like, who's the most goated out of them? I can actually change this banner. I don't need so much speed. He's a bit too fast, in my opinion. So we can go for something a bit lighter. I really do not like these filters at all, man. I do not like these filters at all. And this is the wrong one. And let's go for this one. Much, much better. There we go. We drop some speed. We gain more defense. Let me just chuck a glyph on it. 12, baby! Okay, maybe another time. We got a 9%. That's good. A bit of more crit damage would definitely be very, very nice. Let's see. Can we do any changes to get more crit damage? Most likely we cannot. Either way, the stats are a bit better. 8.7k defense. Now 326 crit damage. We have no relics that matter, so I'm actually going to unequip this one, because we do not need it. That made me lose a bit of more defense. So here I am looking to try and glyph more defense. Kind of like make for the loss of it. 8% no. We want 12. 9% no. We want 12. 11. Okay, I'll take 11. Then we can get a 12 here. We got a 10. I guess we can live with that. And we can try and get some more in here as well. Not 8, bro. Come on. Not even one freaking 12 with all of these glyphs. My God. The RNG. The RNG of this freaking game. Unbelievable. Oh, wow. Finally, we hit the max. Okay. So, we made up for that loss of them. Exactly on point. We have the same masteries as on Taras. It seems like literally identical. We're going to try them in the same team in PvE. We're going to try them in PvP. So they both have 6-star crushing runs as blessings. They're both fully skilled. Let's see which one deals more damage. Okay, now there are a lot of different factors. Things that can enable Leo to do a bit of more damage. But we're going to test that as well. So we're gonna have to bring in a lot of buffs. So let's bring in Leo first because he's the new one. Let's bring in who should we bring in? Let's bring in a Krisk. Why not? Let's bring in a Krisk. Let's bring in a Sifi. She gives us a few buffs. And let's bring in an Arbais. There we go. So like this, we're gonna have tons and tons of buffs. Now let's actually look at the freaking damage. Hopefully we're not gonna get resisted and all that stuff. But I am very, very, very curious. As I've mentioned, it might not make a lot of sense to you why I'm doing this. It's not a fair comparison from some different points of view because it doesn't really make sense. But I'm still curious and I'm still gonna try it. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 buffs on pretty much everybody, okay? Which is crazy. Let's actually see the damage. Okay, 634. We got some nasty, nasty hits in there. That was one of the highest hits that I've seen. But the main thing that matters is the damage right here at the end. So we got 1.532175, okay? We're gonna go in again. Maybe Helm Smasher did not proc or anything like that. It's not something to say, okay, this champion sucks, this champion is better. It's just, I'm curious if Taras, which had one of the best AoE in the games that works in this way, got power crabbed by this one or it did not, okay? Because that is pretty important. Okay, 700k, still a good chunk of damage right there. Let's see the final damage here again. I'm very curious in Hydra, actually, once we're going to decapitate all of the heads. We got 1.514344, okay? Now, if I'm going to drop him out of the team, and if I'm going to bring in Taras, Crushing Rand 2, I'm so curious to see what he does. Is he going to nuke like harder? Make your bets in the comments down below. I'm very, very curious as well. It doesn't matter if we put an increased attack for that skill because it's just affecting the A2, the one that we don't want basically kind of like check out. Taras is a bit slower. So let's see. A lot of buffs. 15% for buff per buff, right? Okay, we actually got some million hits right there. We got like a million. It seems like from this point of view, Taras is wearing the crown. And now, of course, this damage that we're seeing right here is basically the max damage you can do on that stage. But the hits clearly seem much stronger on Taras. But then, it's not the perfect environment for Leo, the way we've tested him before. For Taras, we could argue it and say that this is literally the perfect environment for him, right? Because we're getting a lot of buffs on all of the allies. It's 15% damage per buff rather than 5%. So that makes quite a bit of a difference. And let's see this AoE attack. 1.4 million. Heck, is doubling the damage. Is doubling the damage from Leonardo, guys. Is doubling the damage. At the end, of course, we had 1.440 because we killed the enemies and that was the maximum damage we got from. Lydia got a bit as well. Chris got a bit as well. But that is actually crazy to see that Taras is still wearing the freaking crown. I'm curious to see it in the Hydra as well. But one thing that I want to check again is basically bring Leo back in, take Taras out, and I need to somehow bring in another turtle to ignore that additional defense, right? So we can bring in Donatello instead of Hudo. Instead of her, we already have the increased speed. So no, I think I'll drop... Who the heck am I dropping? Sifi? And bringing Arbais back. This is gonna have slightly less buffs now, though. We might have to cycle it twice to get increased defense from the second skill, though. Which is fine. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do... This is the buffing one, right? That. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. So we are loaded with buffs. Heck, I'm gonna put even more if I can. Okay, there we go. Oh, no, don't attack. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. We have loads of buffs right now. Let's see. Let's see. Can we beat the 1.4 million that we've seen from Taras with one more turtle in? Because it's all about the skill, right? We'll ignore 15% of each target's defense. Now, if I bring more turtles in, I'm going to ignore more defense. But the problem is that I won't be having so many buffs, right? 900. Oh, we got a 1.5 million on one of them. We got a 900 plus K. You know what? With his perfect environment, he can put up that much damage. He can actually. Like, that was a hit of 1.5, which is pretty damn good. Let's actually go into the Hydra clan boss and see what happens there. It's no point to go in PvP because we have different enemies and stuff. It would be great if I could take in Leonardo on a team that gains a lot of buffs as well. I need to see if I can find anything like that. But if we're going to go right here, let's try to create kind of like the perfect team. So I'm going to bring in a Feral. You can get out. You can get out. We're going to bring in Taras. And we're going to bring in Leonardo. We should be having more or less all of the freaking buffs that we need. I'm not going to use any of the other auras because I do not want to give any of them an advantage. I would assume he has gear. Hopefully he does. No, he does not. So I'm quickly going to check my Feral to see what piece he's missing. He's missing quite a few. But we should be able to get them on just like that. And we can head back into the run now. So we're going to do a bit of manual. We want to decapitate the heads. Taras is well known for literally nuking the heck out of these Hydra heads and instantly decapitating them, right? Which is pretty nuts. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We are going to buff first and debuff after. I think that's a better idea. So we can actually start directly by using this skill. So that's 1. 700k, 600k. I'm gonna provoke, so I'm not gonna put any more buffs. Then we have Taras, so we got 2.8 million damage. And Taras, yeah, Taras is still wearing the crown though. I know they work very differently based on the damage bonus that they're getting per buffs and stuff, and it's not a perfect environment for Leonardo. But truth be told, you're never really gonna get into that perfect environment for Leonardo to get to do crazy damage because all of the enemies will have 5, 6, 7 buffs on and you maximize that. It's never going to happen versus any enemy in the game. Even if you go in arena, it might not happen. If they have increased defense strength, then your damage will be reduced by a lot. So you kind of like don't want them to have those buffs. You want them to have increased speed, increased attack, increased accuracy, revive on that so you can smack them another time. Those type of useless buffs that are not bringing in damage reduction, immunity, etc. That was actually pretty damn nasty. Taras's damage was just like to the next level. 2.8, we jumped to 9 million, right? Pretty damn crazy. That is pretty damn crazy. So let's do another hit with Leonardo. Leonardo DiCaprio. 2.8, 2.7, and we decapitated the others. Is Taras gonna have that skill available now, or he won't? But one thing that I've just realized, I had no increased defense on Leonardo. Okay, so we're gonna have to basically redo this from the beginning. I've just realized that now. So Taras will have this available. 8.1, 7 plus million damage. Easily doubled the damage. Now, if we are gonna try it with the increased defense, that should be a bit of a different story, right? I mean, I guess so. And we're gonna do a full run as well on the multi-battle thingy, on the auto, right? So we're gonna buff again. Feral does boost the damage a bit too. We're gonna buff right here. I'm gonna do... Oh, heck, I'm supposed to put the provoke on. What a dumb decision. But I was convinced that we're going to kill one of them. 1.9 million on the Head of Mischief. We almost took down the other ones as well. We're not going to use that skill yet because I want to nuke with him as well first. and then have it available again. We can land some debuffs. Now, we don't have defense down and stuff on everybody, but we're going to focus on the head of Rat right here on the right side. 1.6, 1.7 million. That was really good as well. That was really, really good as well. Really, really good, actually. Because that's more or less how much Taras dealt versus the weakest head, which is the Head of Mischief. And this was pretty good damage. So we're going to kill that head right there. So we apply the defense down and weaken. And now we're going to go back at it with Leo. Hopefully we're going to be able to get a turn before. And let me check to make sure that I have the increased defense. I do, so that should boost the damage more. Are we ready to see a 7, 8 million damage or something like that? I surely hope so. 6 million being the highest in more or less his perfect condition for this team. So, for whoever is wondering, is Taras getting a bit power creep by him? Because he's going to be important for Arena as well, Leonardo, okay? I think he's going to be very good with the passive and everything that he does. And I was curious to see what's the damage difference, but it seems like Taras is still goated. As I've mentioned, you might be saying that Skratch, Leonardo is not in the perfect environment. That is not going to really happen in pretty much any of the fights. If they have the increased defense, the strength and shields, etc., you are going to lose too much damage to the damage mitigation buffs. 5.6, 5 point on the other one. So this hit from Taras was a bit weaker. Actually, Leonardo does more damage versus them. But what we are going to do, guys, we're going to free regroup and we're going to do a quick battle. Now, I have no reviver. I'm hoping to don't encounter any reflect damage or anything like that. But we did. We did, and I think we lost Taras a bit too early, but we're going to discard this and we're going to... Oh, we have no more battles. Okay. Forget about that. We cannot basically go and do it. And I'm not going to manual it just for this. We can see that both of them have crazy good damage, but Taras deals a bit more. And it makes sense because, as I've mentioned, this is literally the perfect environment for him. And it's much easier to recreate that in a PvP as well. I'm quickly going to check one final thing, and that is Doom Tower. We're going to go to hard mode, and I'm going to see if I can find a team that will buff a lot. Okay, now the problem is that it shows me all of the wrong freaking champions right here, which might not be... Okay. This could potentially be a team that will buff a lot. So, we are Void Affinity. We don't care about all that nonsense. I'm gonna go in like this, like that, like this, like that, and like this, okay? We have tons of buffs. I really don't want them to basically get locked or anything like that, because they will not buff like that. And I'm gonna have to bring in another turtle in. So this, literally no buffs right here, which kind of sucks. Okay, Yoshi doing his moves. I'm just gonna go A1. I should be able to literally nuke the heck out of them. Okay, they did gain 2 buffs, so that's 10% more damage, I guess, but it's not the ideal thing that I want to try. I want to see more buffs. Okay, so no defense down or anything like that. We almost killed them all, which is good. I want to see if we get to the next wave. No, these are not buffing either. So let's do that. It's going to be a bit better once we get to the next wave. Once we get to the next wave, that's where the juicy things is going to be in play, basically. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that. Oh, we polymorphed one. Of course, he's going to keep us in here longer. Why not? Okay, a counterattack on the rest. I like that part. That's actually a juicy thing. Good attacks, good damage from that skill as well. Come on, turtle. Take them all down. We want to save all the big skills for the next wave, because they're going to buff there. I want to make sure they are going to get all of their buffs on. Possibly even drop some of the HP on my champion, while I'm not really doing damage to them. Okay, dead. They're all dead. Nobody's stripping buffs in here. They have shield already. I'm not gonna use the other skill on my Arbais because I want to make sure I am not removing the buffs from them. I cannot use that one, but that's fine. I'm gonna have to go A1 on this Astrolon, I guess. Okay, so that's that. We're gonna sleep Astrolon. We're gonna let the rest to buff. I'm gonna Metamorph and just basically get this on. Okay. Okay, 4 buffs. Frisk, I'm counting on you. Okay, they have ally protection. They have a lot of buffs. But they have no debuffs, okay? They have no debuffs. They got rid of those ones, which is fine because that's what's going to happen in PvP as well. Now, I can try and go with this skill first and then go with the other, but instead I'm going to try to nuke them down like this. 200k, etc. So we haven't got like insane damage, but no defense down or weaken. And this is just trying to kind of like replicate a bit of PvP situation, kind of like get you to the reality of it. There is no perfect scenario for him where you have everything golden for his third skill. But the damage is very, very, very powerful either way. My most wanted out of the new champions added to the game. I can't say my most wanted Void now, that's for sure. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I know this video was not something that is trying to necessarily prove a point or anything like that. I really wanted to test this. I thought that maybe some of you guys might be curious about it. And I just wanted to basically show you how a Leonardo compares with a Taras. Okay, Taras still has the crown on his head. Bigger numbers, but the skills are slightly different. But they are the two most powerful champions in the game that deal damage based on each buff on allies, etc. Okay, that was all for this one, guys. Much love, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.